Imagine for a moment that you are on a hill in Galilee more than 2,000 years ago. The sun is shining on the green grass, a gentle breeze caresses your face, and in front of you is a man who is about to change the world with his words. This man is not a powerful politician nor a famous philosopher. He is Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God, who is about to deliver the most revolutionary speech in history, the Sermon on the Mount. But what is so special about this sermon? Why, after 2 millennia, do we still talk about it? Brothers and sisters, get ready for a journey that will change your perspective forever. In the next few minutes, we are going to dive into the most impactful teachings the world has ever known, teachings that challenged empires, transformed hearts, and continue to be as relevant today as the day they were spoken. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. With these words, Jesus began to turn the world upside down. What does it really mean to be poor in spirit? The answer will surprise you and make you question everything you thought you knew about success and happiness. Now you might be thinking, all right, it sounds interesting, but why should I care about a sermon delivered 2,000 years ago? It's a valid question, so let me explain why the Sermon on the Mount is not just an old speech, but a revolution that is still alive today. Imagine for a moment a world where forgiveness replaces revenge, where compassion triumphs over selfishness, where love conquers hate. It seems like an impossible dream, right? Well, that's exactly the kind of world Jesus was proposing in the Sermon on the Mount. And not only did he propose it, but he also gave us the tools to make it a reality. In a world torn apart by conflicts, divisions, and hatred, the teachings of the Sermon on the Mount offer a radical alternative, a way of living that can heal broken relationships, bring peace to seemingly hopeless situations, and transform entire communities. We are not talking about abstract theories, but practical principles that have changed millions of lives throughout history. You have heard that it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. With these words, Jesus was not just teaching, he was challenging the entire value system of his time and ours. He was proposing a completely new way of relating to one another and to God. Let's dive into the heart of the Sermon on the Mount. It all begins in Matthew 5:1-2. Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him and he began to teach them. Imagine the scene, a diverse crowd eager to listen, and Jesus sitting like a teacher about to share truths that would shake the world. The sermon begins with the Beatitudes, a series of statements that start with blessed or happy. But don't be fooled. These are not just motivational phrases. They are a radical redefinition of what it means to be truly blessed or happy. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:3. Wait, the poor in spirit? This goes against everything the world tells us about success and happiness. It's not about being materially poor, but recognizing our spiritual need. It's admitting that we don't have all the answers and that we need God. This is the first step to experiencing the kingdom of heaven, not in a distant future, but here and now. Jesus continues, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew 5:4. In a world that tells us we must always be happy, that we must quickly get over our losses, Jesus validates our pain. He tells us it's okay to mourn, that grieving is part of life, and he promises comfort. It's not an invitation to pessimism, but a recognition that pain is part of the human experience and that God is with us in our suffering. As we continue through the Beatitudes, we find this gem. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Matthew 5:5. Wait a minute. The meek will inherit the earth? In a world that celebrates the aggressive and the assertive, this sounds like madness. But Jesus is directly challenging the survival of the fittest mentality. Meekness is not weakness, it's strength under control. It's the ability to respond with love even when treated unjustly. It's having the power to strike back, but choosing not to. It's like a powerful horse that has been tamed, all that strength and power under control.